Guys, listen. I can't even find the original atheism is mental illness video. But let's just talk about, this is atheists. Atheists are basically reptilian. They're devil worshippers, really, and I'll show you why. But we all know what the devil is. It's ego, lower state of consciousness, but I'll explain. Let's start from the beginning. First of all, I want to talk about carbon dating, yeah, because that's what that's the religion of scientism always relies on. Everything's like 1 trillion years old, like 1 billion years old, 1 billion. Like, bro, like, first of all, you're talking shit, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly why it's shit. So they themselves tell us that we came from an explosion remember, from part 1. Nothing created everything around us, including rocks, the moon, the sun, octopus, fucking flying fish, rainbows, everything in between. Nothing made it, yeah? Cool. They themselves said that this ball of gas, yeah, burning gas, which looks like a perfect circle called the sun, yeah, is burning quadrillion, million, how much, whatever, every second of the day, yeah? Cool, no problem, and it's never finished, and whatever, cool. It looks like a perfect circle. Use your brain, yeah? An explosion that can create something that's a perfect circle. Don't be fucking dumb, people. Wake up. Anyway, and not even just one circle, multiple circles. All perfect circles. Circles so perfect they fit on top of each other. Use your fucking brain. Anyway, so this ball of gas had rocks going around it, yeah, which is the planets, yeah? And over time, the dust and shit, like, all made rocks. Imagine dust making rocks, bruv. Like, anyway, and then, so nothing has created rocks and stuff, and then nothing has now created water, nothing's created all that stuff. Remember, before these things settled into their patterns, yeah, which is basically us revolving around the sun, because it was an explosion from the beginning of time, we could have been much more closer or further away. It stands to reason that we were further away because they say that the sun's gravitational pull is what pulls us in and keeps us there. So it stands to reason that it didn't push us away. So that means we were further away and it's pulled us into its orbit. So that means that our regular revolution, listen to what I'm going to say. Yeah, please listen. This is super fucking important. That means that our regular revolution around the sun in the early days of life, or in the early days of this planet, would have been longer than a year. True or false? Okay, but your carbon dating machine is based on time, which is based on our fucking... Oh my God. So if the current year is 365 days or whatever it is, and your carbon dating machine dates it and goes, it's 1 billion years old, yeah? But then in the very beginning, when that rock was alive, yeah, or when that rock existed, because that's the stuff that you're dating, yeah, and all this shit. In the early days of that very actual rock, yeah, a year was probably 500 days or 600 days. Or it could have been 1,000 days. So your whole calculation is bullcrap. Your whole calculation is bullshit. I stand on this with my chest out, 1,000,000,000%. If I'm lying, then that means your whole theory is bullshit. Because how have you calculated 1 million years when the year system that you're using now is not the same year when the thing actually started? That means your numbers are off. Cool. Let's park that one. Let's come back to chapter 2. Today we're going to eat them for lunch. When I had the Christians, everybody, the Christians had their time, Muslims have their time, now it's atheist time. Everyone's going to wake up, man. You're going to get your medicine. Whether you like it or not, you're going to get it. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, right? If you got a piece of paper or whatever, just write it down. If not, just use your head. Doesn't really matter. When I talk about dinosaurs, who is the crown jewel of the dinosaur race? T-Rex. I lie? We all know. What does a T-Rex look like? He's reptilian, right? Kind of looks like a snake, really. Scales, sharp teeth, sharp claws, Very reptilian, yeah? Okay. He's the poster boy, really. You've got your pterodactyls who are like basically flying birds, and we all know that they always say that birds are like a remnant of the dinosaur thing. If you don't know, look it up. They've said it themselves. And birds even have scaly legs, which means that they share a lineage somewhere along the line, yeah? In terms of the spectrum of creation or the spectrum of life, consciousness expressing itself, there's some sort of like overlap between reptiles and chickens, yeah, because they've got scales on land, yeah, one of those, that group. Cool. Now let's come back to the T-Rex. So basically, if you look at all the dinosaurs, they're all very kind of like reptilian in appearance, yeah? Very scaly, sharp teeth, sharp claws, you know, they're not very mammalian, yeah? They're not very, but the poster boy is the T-Rex. He's got like a snake tail. If you took away his limbs, he's basically just a big fucking snake, really. Yeah? Okay. The very same scientist community tells us that us human beings, our first brain is a reptilian brain. True or false? Okay. So now we're going to merge the concepts and see what's what. So when we think about it, right? I've said this, that I said in my video that we are the reptilians. The reptilians are just an iteration of consciousness. It's probably the previous iteration, right, of us, a different config. That same story is being told to you through scientism and their whole story. Let me explain. So the whole universe started from nothing, spontaneously came into being. And of all the creatures that came to be, blah, 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 the most dominant ones, which is basically like humans 1.0, the very first apex dominant, blah, 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 were these big monstrous dinosaurs, right? Their poster boy is basically a snake. Yeah? Their poster boy is basically a snake that's got big legs. You wonder what they even ate, because imagine being that big. Like, how did fish and all these creepy crawlies from water actually like magically turn into these giant monstrous fucking animals? What did they eat, bro? Like, you're talking animals bigger than elephants and stuff. Like, imagine them walking around and stuff like the whole... Anyway, how did they even mate, bro? How did they even mate? Let's be real. How did they even give birth and stuff? Let's think. Anyway, whatever. Let's come back to the story. So, the very first, so the nothing created everything, and then somehow these dinosaurs came into being. They were the apex creatures, blah, 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 blah. And then, according to the story, some fucking meteorite or something took them all out. And then out of the remnants of that, yeah, somewhere along the lines, humans were born, yeah? And then humans, they started to evolve from animals, yeah? That's where the story goes from the scientist religion. And we, apes and stuff, we evolved, and then we became man. And then we became the dominant species here. You know, we have consciousness, we have all these things, and then we'll keep morphing and evolving and shit like that. And now we've been to space, we can travel dimensions, we've got hadron colliders, you know, space travel, quantum computing, everything, right? That story is literally about us again. Let me start. So consciousness magically spawns everything into creation. The very first edition of consciousness was the people in a lower state of consciousness. The serpents, yeah? They weren't a lower state, but essentially they didn't evolve. They stayed in the animalistic state. So they got taken out. But some of them actually survived. Because in the modern day, what do we say? We say that crocodiles are like, the ancestors of, what do you call them? Dinosaurs, right? And they always say things like, oh, even roaches survived from the dinosaur era. They're like just truth drops. So if crocodiles survived, right? And we have snakes who are also reptiles, right? And and in the biblical story, it ties in with the snake being present in the garden which was made by consciousness itself, right? There is no way consciousness wouldn't have known that there was a snake there. which means that the snake had a right to be there. It's part of the show. Yeah, but perhaps now it's stuck in a lower consciousness. It's a snake. It's stuck to the floor. It's stuck to the floor. It's allegory, bro. So then he convinces the human, the new edition of the new kind of configuration of consciousness in this dreamscape called Earth, to follow his wisdom and fall into the state that he's in. Humanity falls into that state, thereby making that reptile the god above us, because we've traded our godhood to them. Yeah, and we live in this low dense reality. They say the wisest animal is a snake, blah 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 blah. Now, from that point, so if you think about the story, this is the Christian side. So if you think about the story, so the dinosaurs have been they've been taken out, but then some have survived according to their own scientific story, crocodiles and snakes and shit, right? So if they've made it this far, what was I gonna say? Wait, they've made it this far, right? And they're also talking about humans now coming on the scene after the serpents, right? Or after the crocodile, after the dinosaurs. Humans come on the scene after that point, and then humans are starting to evolve. Yeah, humans are trying to traverse this world and other worlds and other dimensions and stuff like that. It's a story about consciousness. Another iteration of consciousness has now arisen. That second iteration of consciousness has to strive to ascend, because if it doesn't ascend, it will get stuck in this dimension just like the previous iteration. The very same previous iteration that's fully aware of what consciousness is, but is doing everything in its power to keep consciousness in a lower state of vibration. These are the kings and queens of this earth, this earth dream, Hollywood media, politics, the people that run these things. They are those things. But at the same time, they are consciousness, because like I said, we are the same thing. They're just a different aspect of them. Behind the mask, we are the same. So atheists are also telling you the same story. We have the ability to now go to other worlds, and now quantum computing, basically we've now gone into the realm of consciousness. We're talking about consciousness and matter. That's basically one of the central big unexplainable questions in scientism. So if consciousness was nothing, how is that a super important topic in a whole religion? Do you see it? So it ties in. Even your mind, they tell you that the very first aspect of your mind was reptilian. So basically, they're telling you that it's the same config, yeah? But the very first mind that was there, maybe it's been improved. The configuration is changed, but it has elements of the previous, which is reptilian. Look at us and look at reptiles. Where do we cross over for us to have the brain of a reptile? Let's use our brains for a second, guys. What part of reptiles do we have in common? Where? Their blood is cold and we're warm-blooded. They produce poison, we don't. They lay eggs, we don't. They've got scales, we don't. They literally need the light of God in order for them to be warm. We have the light of God in us. Bro, it's an allegory for your own story here, bro. We've done Christianity. I decoded it and I proved it. Yeah, that you are Jesus Christ. Yeah. We're looking at atheism, bro. You are the God of that religion. It's you, bro. You're the one, you're the nothing that created everything. You are the singularity. You are the black hole. You are evolution, not that bullcrap they're talking about. because you have to evolve in order for you to ascend this place. You have to evolve. If you don't evolve, you will get stuck here, bro. And that's why when they tell you, oh, crocodiles are ancestors of, or they existed during the dinosaur age or whatever, but they've not evolved. They're still the same. The reptilians are still the same. They haven't evolved. They're still the same. Deep in ego, deep in lower states of consciousness. Predatory. Parasitic. But wise. Because it's got experience of this place. It's got knowledge. It's the same story with Lucifer. Lucifer brought light. Yeah. Wisdom, which is wisdom. Cool. Is the same way that the serpent also brought knowledge, yeah, the light to Eve. It was wisdom, because if you don't know it, a part of your brain lights up, yeah. They took this, it's there. So he wanted to take the throne, right? The lower state of consciousness, the serpent wanted to usurp the throne. It wanted to dominate consciousness. It didn't work, so it literally got destroyed. So it had to get taken out of that dimension. But then the devil still is the king of this realm in the Bible, right? So it's like, how can he have been cast away into hell, but he's still the king of this realm? Which means that this material world is run by that low consciousness, because this place is a low vibrational state. It's a dense place. It's a place of low consciousness anyway. Like, not low consciousness, low vibration. It's dense. Do you understand? So it's the perfect place for egos to be able to grow here, bro. And it's roaming this place like a lion looking for consciousness to devour, bro. It's the same story. It's the same story, bro. Bro, it's the same story, just being told in different ways, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
So, carbon dating, also known as radiocarbon dating, works by measuring the amount of radioactive carbon in organic materials, blah 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 blah. When an organism dies, it stops taking in carbon. The amount of carbon-14 it takes begins to decay at a known rate. Bear this in mind. By measuring the remaining amount of carbon-14 in a sample and comparing it to the initial amount when the organism was alive, scientists can estimate how long it's been since the organism died. So let's take a dinosaur. Actually, before we get to that, we say this method is especially useful for dating organic materials up to 50,000 years old, but they keep telling you about 1 million years and this and that. So we're going to discuss the known rate, the estimate, and when the organism was alive. So you're telling me that you're basically going to measure the amount of carbon-14 it contains, and you're going to line it up with when it was alive, but you don't know when it was alive. So how do you find out how old it is when you didn't know when it was alive? So how are you reverse engineering it? So that means it's guesswork. It's an estimate. It's a guess. It's not real. Carbon dating is fake. It's not real. It's here. Like, it's not. You can check it up. Check it out yourself. Now let's ask you another question. What is the known rate of decay? So wait, The known rate of decay for carbon-14 is governed by its half-life, which is also a guess. It's the time it takes for half of the radioactive atoms in the sample to decay. The half-life is approximately, so it's not fixed, it's not guaranteed, it's approximate 5,730 years. Bruv, someone's fucking with your mind, you know? So what if that thing is younger than 5,730 years? Then how do you calculate it? Guys, they're fucking with your heads, mate. They really, really are. It's guesswork. So anything over 50,000 years old is a lie anyway. And we just find out that this whole bullshit around 5,730 years doesn't make sense. Oop. Guys, they're lying to you. So it was alive 66 million years old. So how do you know? So you're gonna measure rocks and fossils to determine their ages. For the age of dinosaurs, scientists often use radiometric dating of volcanic rocks found in the same geological layers as the dinosaur fossils. But how are you dating them though? Because we've just established that the dating can only go back 50,000 years, bro. So you're measuring the rocks, okay. So all this is rock. Cool. Bro, this is all lies. Oh, we broke chatgpt, bro. Bro, we just broke it. Oh my god. No, but you can't say it's independent of human calendars when you say with half-life of blah 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 billion years. Like, so what is the year? So it's not even based on calendar years. Okay, wow. So there is no, so that means that there is no time for it. This half-life. Oh my god, this is guesswork. Uranium has a half-life of 4.5 billion years. But what is that year? You're saying that that year is not based on a calendar, so what year is it? You see, it's still not answering the question, because if you're still saying this year is based on the specific half-life of the isotope being measured, for example, uranium, blah, 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 billion years, but what is this year if it's not based on a calendar year? So what is this number? Wow. Okay. You've not answered the question. It's fake. You can look it up yourself, it's fake. ChatGPT won't answer the question. The relationship between years and dating and the equivalent calendar years. So the half-life is 4.5 billion years. So 1 year is equivalent to 4.5 billion years, which means it's 1 for 1 in years, right? So if you're saying potassium K is 1.3 billion years, 1 year in potassium is equivalent to 1.3 billion years. So it's 1 for 1. So that means the year is the year. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So 1 year is 730. 1 year in cap is the same. So the years are 1 for 1. Okay. How long is a year, bro? Okay, so it's 365 days. Okay. 365, 365, 365, okay. Read this. The formation of the solar system took billions of years, but there wasn't any measurement because there was no sun, there was no earth, there was no revolution. So how do you calculate the year? You can't, because that's it, that's the metric. So that means we're using the current measurement to gauge the age of something which didn't exist then. So the earth was formed 4.5 billion years, okay. Read this. So that means that the whole year dating system is fake. You're using a relative unit of time. Now we've gone back to the same thing, talking about the same half-lives and the same 530 years, but we've established that when they say this, they still mean this in 1 for 1 in terms of the year. Guys, it's fake, man.